Jeremy, what are you doing with your teeth, you creep?
Brad. Nice to see you today, Brad. It's been a while.
You've officially entered Creepville. Dude, stop, seriously.
Stop what? This is my face.
There it is. Now you're blocked. All right, Jeremy, we get the point.
Oh man, I really
Sheesh.
hurt my face to do that.
Jeremy, this weekend. You ready?
Cake time.
You ready?
No.
What?
Are you ready?
No.
No.
I
don't
thought
think
I was ready, but I spent all day, literally all day yesterday in the hospital.
The emergency room or the regular hospital?
Emergency room.
Bradford. It's really unfortunate.
It was unfortunate.
I'm sad for you.
So I went to Miami last week, and I I did zero training, zip, and I just wasn't like feeling that great. Like, really can't put my finger on it, other than I was kind of dragging ass.
Yeah.
And then on Friday, I flew.
Brad, you just made it so this cannot be kid friendly.
Ass is not a curse word.
What?
Again, in the spirit of a podcast, which is for people's ears pleasures.
Their ears pleasures.
Ears pleasures, not their peepers pleasures.
Okay.
Why don't you bring people in with a nice experience of sound waves instead of doing these egregious motions that you're doing?
Like singing? Like, ooh, ooh.
Oh my God. For crying out loud.
What, Brad?
Are you done? Maybe this is an opportune time to welcome everybody to Briggity Bro Bobs. Jeremy, what the hell is that? What? It's amazing. It's no matter how many times you tell this absolute imbecile that this is a podcast, he acts like a mime.
That was good. I got you so
act
good.
like a talking mime doing, what was it, Fruit Ninja? You look like you're doing life-size Fruit Ninja.
But yeah, Briggity Bro Bobs. Welcome to those dudes.
Here we are. Bradford and Jeremy in the flesh. See, that's better. At least you made a sound.
It's no different than what you did.
I'm saying at least you imitated me and made a sound while you did this physical motion.
I did.
The motion of the ocean. So I fly out of Tampa on Friday after a week of doing squat all. And I got on the plane and I was like, man, I think I might have like seriously hurt myself. I think I've got a hernia. I've never had a hernia, so I don't know why that was the first reaction. And then I was like, no, it's probably not a hernia. It's serious. Genuinely, in 45 years of living, I've never had gas where I've got like stomach cramps and like your stomach hurts from gas. I don't know if you've ever had that.
I mean, I'm sure I have.
So I can't ever think of one time where I've had that. So, but then immediately crossed my mind. I'm like, this is gas. Like, stomach's kind of cramping up. Feel like I might need to toot on the plane.
Oh, that's tricky situations right there.
And the plane was packed.
Yeah.
So I was like, but like it doesn't feel like it. And then when I had a layover in Charlotte, go to the bathroom, a poopy break, no problems. So it couldn't have been gas. Now I'm thinking it's back to a hernia.
Okay, man.
Yep. And so then back to Cleveland, take a gas X because now I'm thinking maybe it was gas and just the turd slipped right past the gas pocket.
Snuck right by it, huh?
And I mean, speaking of which, would it be possible to poop and not get rid of the gas? I don't think it is.
I don't know. I would imagine that you would have just blew that toilet up. You know, those like
Right. Those
big fart,
guys. Those
those
guys.
big big farting turd
I
move
mean, I've
dudes.
heard of filter farts, like where you've got a loaded
Yeah,
chamber and you're still able to squeeze out the gas around it.
yeah,
So
those
whatever,
things are awful.
they're acts of terrorism,
They are.
but I've never heard of. And maybe I'm completely wrong here, which I'm willing to admit I could be wrong. That so what would it be that's a filter fart? What would
That
it
would
be when the turd sneaks right past the gas?
sneaky turd. Like Ninja Turd?
Incognito at a minimum.
Yeah. So you got one of those guys.
Well, I thought so. I took a gas X, go to bed. That night of sleep just miserable, and so now I'm back on the hernia bandwagon.
Okay.
So wake up Saturday, I'm pretty sure that I have a hernia, and so but then I'm like, I'm doing little sit ups, and I'm like, I think it'd be sit ups would hurt way worse.
Yeah.
Could be gas again.
Okay.
So probably go back and forth another 2, 3 times, and then I look up and it's like a very specific point in my belly, and I was like, so I looked at it, Googled it, the ultimate doctor. I
Yeah.
Googled the symptoms, and I was like, we may be onto something here. This could be a case of the diverticulitis.
What is that, Brad?
I'll get into that because
Sorry.
this is all a rough draft at the time. This isn't the final copy. This
Fair
isn't
enough.
ready for publishing, nor is
So what
it been.
exactly did you look up? Look up like significant stomach pain with like incognito turds that you
Yeah,
think it's a hernia?
I looked up. Um, I Googled lower abdominal left side pain. So because it's on a specific side, and one of the items that came up is diverticulitis. So now to give you a little insight into diverticulitis,
Oh, we're back to the definition game with Bradford Lang.
could be. So diverticula are small bulging pouches that can form in the lining of your digestive system. They're found most often in the lower part of the large intestine, colon. Diverticula are common especially among after age of 40 and seldom cause problems. Presence of diverticula is known as diverticulitis. When one or more of these pouches become inflamed and in some cases infected, that condition is known as diverticulitis. Diverticulitis can cause severe abdominal pain, fever, nausea, and a marked change in bowel habits. Mild diverticulitis can be treated with rest, changes in your diet, and antibiotics. Severe or recurring diverticulitis may require surgery. So
Huh.
it's nothing to mess around with, Jeremy.
Big time. So you went to the
And
emergency
so,
room?
yeah, so then get through all day Saturday, including going to Top Golf in the evening and swinging like I was a Rory McIlroy. So I
Okay.
know this is a running podcast, but he would be like the Jakob Ingebrigtsen of golf.
Okay.
Maybe the Josh Kerr.
Wow.
Yep,
Dude.
he's big time.
Big time.
Big time. Maybe he's the Galen Rupp because he's a Nike athlete.
Oh, dude. Come, you ruined it. The
He's
wet towel himself?
the wet towel himself.
I think we need to get shirts made of a wet towel with Galen Rupp's face on it. That would
Just
be cool.
just like crying meme.
Yeah.
Like the Jordan crying meme, but it's Rupp crying.
Dude, I'm onto something here.
But I mean, for all 5 of our listeners, it could be big time.
I thought you said we were getting like hundreds of downloads on our podcast.
We are, but I don't think that they're shirt purchasing people.
They don't know what our shirts are.
I've looked over the demographics, and I don't think they're shirt purchasing people.
Well, what are the well, okay, anyway, we'll get to those. Oh, I was going to say, what are the demographics?
And so play amazing golf at Top Golf. Just literally whip up on Stephanie and Levi. Just demolish them. It wasn't even close.
You show them
Granted,
boss.
neither of them play golf, but I was straight boss mode out there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. People looked in awe.
What was Kira doing?
She was with her friends at another. It was for her 16th birthday, so she invited over 6 of her girlfriends from high school.
Including her boyfriend?
Nope, no boyfriend.
She doesn't have a boyfriend now?
Nope. He's dead to us as a family.
That doesn't last very long.
I won't even acknowledge his mom when I see her.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's big time.
A couple of times she's like, "Hey, Brad, how are you? How's Kira?" And I just keep walking.
What? No, you don't.
So then go to bed Saturday night, still not feeling amazing. Like, had a really hard time sleeping on one side or the other. Wasn't too bad on my pack. And then wake up Sunday morning, as you know, time change.
Yep.
Which is pretty spectacular. I must say, this evening, looking out at 7 o'clock and it's light out, like you could still be doing things.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty special.
But that means that I got up how my body feels at 4 o'clock instead of 5.
It also means you can be out running at 7 o'clock.
I could be out running at 7 o'clock regardless if it was light outside or not.
Pointing fingers at my head like it's a big thought.
Like a light bulb?
This is a podcast.
Your light bulb
I'd be doing this.
No, but your head is big, shaped like a light bulb. I never put it together. You have a light bulb head. Maybe when I get my tattoo of a lemon head, you can get a light bulb head.
That means you're sour and I'm a genius.
I'm cool with that.
So wake up, go to one of those urgent clinics.
Yeah.
And they start pressing on my abdomen. And I was like, holy crap, that hurts. And they're like, they kind of freaked me out. They're like, this is honestly worrisome. And I said, well, could it be diverticulitis? Because I'm basically a medical professional.
Essentially, that's how I gathered it, yeah.
And so one of the reasons I am a medical professional is I've had diverticulitis before at 20 years old. So despite the fact that it outlined in the definition I gave you, typically over 40, some material that you'll read, including Cleveland Clinic, says typically over 50. Not this guy.
You got it early.
Pretty mature.
Yeah.
I've got the intestines of a 50-year-old in college. And so when I had it in college, I was in the hospital.
Is that when you pooped on the carpet? And I had to clean it up?
I'm pretty sure that was just an episode of drinking. So, but
I bring it up. Sorry.
So, what I did, I got like incredibly sick. Stephanie had to drive me like to the emergency room, like burning up, uncontrollable vomiting, diarrhea galore. Like you would think at some point you just run out of things to evacuate.
Yeah.
And so that was like a really that was quite the episode. And so it says that you have a higher chance of recurring diverticulitis once you have had diverticulitis once.
Yeah.
And so I told the nurse practitioner there, could this be diverticulitis? And she's like, no, diverticulitis is higher up. She goes, think it might be appendicitis. Said 0 chance it's appendicitis because I don't have an appendix, lady.
You put her in her place big time.
Yeah, maybe you should ask a question or two before you go start throwing around accusations like having appendixes.
Maybe go to, like, I don't know, med school. Go to nursing school.
Fact.
I don't know.
Yep. Well, and then so she's like, it's honestly quite concerning. The diverticulitis would be higher up, which not the case. I've read it on many a website.
Like 3?
Right. So we know she's wrong. And so she's like, the way that it's down here is honestly quite concerning. You need to go immediately to the ER for a CAT scan.
Dang.
And I thought, holy shit. Well, there goes our episode. Said, holy shit. It's cancer.
So we went from hernia to gas to hernia to gas to hernia to gas, diverticulitis
to cancer.
Okay. Gotcha.
Self-diagnosed.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, seriously concerning doesn't lead me to believe it's anything but that.
I agree.
I'm thinking life-threatening.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking through, so what's it going to be like if I'm in cancer? It's definitely going to be like, I would assume radiation at a minimum, definitely a surgery, definitely a liquid diet for a while I'm in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I might come out of this pretty thin. Like, I'm being dead serious. This all went through my head. I thought to myself, like, this is going to be the Lance Armstrong of Masters running. Hopefully I keep both testicles, but I'm going to come out with a bit of a different physique and just be blowing people's doors off. Blowing people's doors off.
You're on it today. But that's where you went with, I'm going to get cancer so I can, like, come back as, like, some super badass runner.
And I'd come up with, like, the rubber bracelets.
Yeah.
We'd end up redoing those, the Briggity Brobobs Foundation.
I mean, we have to get a foundation first, Brad.
Yeah, but think about it. It's a non-profit. How hard could it be? And so think of this. Just think of the book that we're going to write here.
Okay.
You know, like Lance Armstrong was trying to ride on that swollen testicle that he had. Meanwhile, I'm flying across the country with possible gas bubbles.
Yeah.
Like, we're both moving, shaking. I have to imagine that gas bubble looked like a ball. And then I thought it was a hernia because he thought it was something else. And then I thought it was gas. And then I thought it was a hernia. Then I thought it was gas. Then I'm sneaking turds out past the gas. And the next thing you know, I got cancer.
I think this is a bestseller, Brad.
It's everything in life is about the narrative.
It is. And I think we should name it Big Time.
Big Time.
Big Time.
Base. And so then I go immediately over to the Cleveland Clinic ER. And and they're like, all right, like, sounds like we're having quite the episode. They're like, I said, do you think it could be diverticulitis? Because it's either that or cancer.
But no other option.
And nobody wants to walk in and be like, do I have cancer? Like, you want to start on the low end. We got a real hypochondriac over here. He's just self-diagnosed himself with the big C.
The big C.
And so and so I'm trying to make this look more formal. So I go, I throw out the diagnosis of diverticulitis.
Yeah.
And she's like, I doubt it's typically for males over 50. And I said, I mean, I kind of know that. Read it. What attitude? not Reddit, like a Reddit forum. Like I've
That's one of
read
your
it.
sources, Brad, is Reddit. You got it. All right.
And so I said, so just so you know, I've had diverticulitis before. And she's like, okay. Any other surgeries? Said, good question. Appendectomy. Rule that out. Mark that off the list. Because
Done.
if you don't know, appendicitis starts on your left side.
I don't know. I've never
Almost
had
the
it.
same side, then it moves kind of down around just over
Does it go to
your
your junk?
just over the root, and then it comes back up to the right, where then it sits there, and you are in excruciating pain, and then God forbid, pop, it blows up.
And then what happens? Does your penis fall off?
No, then you've just had now you're filling your body cavity. If you're not careful, they're gonna have to take out all of your intestines and wash them down because you've just poisoned and ruined everything.
They have to take out your whole intestines?
Not me, because they caught it just as it was rupturing.
Are you serious though?
Yep.
I want to say that I have had my appendix has exploded 12, 15 years ago.
I doubt it. You'd be dead.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
And
Didn't happen.
so I said, good question. Had an appendectomy. She marked that off the list. Any other surgeries? I'm glad you asked. Just had a torn meniscus fixed. She's like, okay. Mark that off the list. She's like, anything else? I go, I'm glad you asked. I had my other meniscus repaired. She goes, okay, mark it off the list. I go, so now that we've eliminated the appendicitis or torn meniscus, menisci, what's next? And I'm thinking this might be it, the big C.
Yeah, I mean that's the next logical option.
It's a logical step.
For sure.
Like you go appendicitis, no. Meniscus right, no. Meniscus left, no. Cancer.
Definitely not causing the issues. Gas bubbles? No.
Right.
Did they just give you gas X?
No.
Like,
So they go, okay, we're going to get you, we need a CAT scan. So, like, she tests my abdomen and she just like literally, she's doing everywhere. You can press everywhere. So she, like, now is building confidence that she can't hurt me. And then the last one is right on my diverticulitis, which was, it's excruciating. Like, it genuinely is extremely painful. And I'm like, oh my. And she's like, oh, okay, there it is. Yeah, like I told you, my abdomen is tender. So she's like, we're going to need to get a CAT scan and we're going to need to get an IV and we're going to need to do blood work. We're going to need to check your kidney function. And like they just do this whole laundry list of tests.
yeah.
So then the next nurse comes in and he's like, all right, I'm going to get you your IV started. So he goes on my left arm. What?
I can't listen to this. This makes me go woozy.
Why?
I don't know. Go ahead though. Tell everybody.
And so
I'll
so he gets, like ties the band on. Are you listening, Jeremy? This is a conversation between you and me.
I'm listening to you.
So he ties on the band to get me super veiny, and then he inserts the little piece, and then he takes 2 or 3 vials of blood, right? For the blood workup. And then that whole apparatus is then taped onto your arm. Haven't you ever had
Okay.
an IV?
Yes, Brad.
And so he tapes that whole thing onto my arm, and then he's like, all right, let's get this started. So then we're kind of talking and rapping about careers, and he used to be in the Army, and oh, you're a valet attendant? Yeah, I'm a valet attendant. And he's like, where do you work? Like what restaurant? And I said, well, I oversee the East Coast. He goes, so you just fly around parking cars all over the East Coast? I said, well, maybe I'm a little more than a parking attendant. And so then he's like, all right, let's get this IV set up. And so he puts in the IV and my arm just starts blowing up. He's like, oh God, your vein ruptured. I go,
Jesus. Dude, I gotta take off my watch. You're making me like squirm over here. This isn't.
And so
Okay, go
now my
ahead.
arm's all swollen and it starts turning black and blue almost immediately. And so now he's got to go to my right arm. Jeremy, eye
Yeah.
contact, come on.
No, I'm listening.
So then he goes to my right arm. We get it set up through that way. And then this is really quite the episode. It's just. And so I'm hooked up on the IV and I go, what? Like, I already kind of got to go pee. So the reason that I didn't pee before I walked in the emergency room, I should have prefaced all this. They asked me for a urine sample at the urgent care.
Yeah.
So for possible kidney stones.
And
And
you're familiar with those.
very familiar. Yeah. And so she's like, take a couple of bottles of water with you when you go to the ER. They're going to ask, the hospital's going to ask for a urine sample again. And I go, I'm telling you, this isn't telling everybody what's wrong with me. I said, this isn't kidney stones. Well, how do you know? Because I've had kidney stones. I know, but they show different symptoms. I know, but I've had all the symptoms. And they're like, no, you've never had all the symptoms. You're going to need to have your kidneys checked. You're going to have a urine sample to see if there's any blood in there in your urine. So I built up a bunch of urine from
Yeah.
drinking water because you drink water, goes down, gets filtered, boom, now it's in your bladder. Next thing you know, you got to pee. So as soon as he hooks me up to the IV, I'm like, whew. I go, so what happens if I want to pee? And he goes, I gotcha. And he brings me over this like handled thingamajigger that you like hold and pee into.
Yeah.
And I go, so I can't go to the bathroom? He goes, no, I just hooked you up to the IV. I'm like, all right, so I'm going to go in the bed. And so he gets up and he leaves, and I immediately pull out my wiener, take said wiener and place it into this canister, and then start whizzing. And now I'm like just at the end. So, like, you can't stand up to get off the dribbles. So I'm just sitting there thumping this container. And somebody walks in like it's only a curtain in the triage in the ER, you know?
Yeah.
I guess it technically wasn't the triage, it was really the
But
emergency room.
yeah.
And so she's like, and they just kind of like ruffle the curtains and then say, is it okay to come in? And I said no. And she just walks in and I'm sitting there laughing. And then she startles me, and then so that I proceed to just pee all over my pants. So I'm in a gown, but I'm just wearing like a nice pair of like literal dress slacks that I just pee all over now. So now I'm just in my own urine, and it's all over my underwear. Like it's a big pile of mess on my
Yeah.
pants. And I'm like, and she goes, "Oh, I'll come back." I go, "Well, like at this point, just give me the paperwork." So I'm like, close the bottle. I hang it on the bed, which is just weird to just be
That is
sitting there
super
by your
weird.
urine. And now I'm thinking to myself, Mike, what's this is going to be even? It's embarrassing enough. This woman walks in for me to sign paperwork and take my copay. So, but I'm in soiled clothes, and now the doctor's going to come in and be checking my abdomen, looking down at just this pile of piss on my pants.
Oh, Brad.
And so then, sure enough, the doctor comes in, and I was like, "You just have to play it off like it could be anything. Like you have to assume they know it's piss, but you
Well,
don't."
they've
Right.
seen it all, Bradford.
But the best thing to do in that situation is just not acknowledge it. Like, don't lend any credibility to the farce that is this urine soiled pants.
It smells like piss everywhere.
It doesn't smell that bad when you're that well hydrated.
I mean, it's true.
Like, this pump was
Good thing you didn't
primed.
eat like asparagus right before going in.
Yeah. Can you imagine just walking out? Oh my God, smelling like a cat urine?
Dude.
Whoo! So that unto itself was quite the experience in the emergency room. So
Yeah.
Steph, and I'm thinking, should I call Stephanie and ask her to come? and bring a fresh set of clothes? Because
I would have.
why do you want to lie here for the next who knows how long? I just sit there and dried up urine for another 6+ hours.
Oh, geez, dude. You were there for a long time.
Yeah. And so then they bring me into to the CT scan. And I don't know if you've ever done a CT scan before.
Nope.
Because they're doing your abdomen, they have to pump you full of like I don't some type of dye. What?
Go ahead.
So they have this big machine and it's immediate. So you immediately like taste it in your mouth. It tastes like you're chewing on tinfoil and like in your nose. And then another minute later, it feels like you've wet your pants. So like because it's traveling obviously through your abdomen. So now your
Yeah.
whole body feels like it's radiating. And it feels like they're like here's another funny tidbit for you in there. So the who technician there, she's like, it's gonna feel like you're peeing yourself, but you're not. And I go, but what happens if I do? Thinking to myself, because I already have.
Yeah.
Like if I couldn't manage to just pee in the bottle, like the chances of when they tell me it feels like I'm peeing myself, that I'm gonna pee myself are probably pretty good. And I said, so like, what happens if I do pee myself? And she goes, in all the time that I've been here, we've never had anybody pee themselves. And I'm thinking, like they set the bar pretty damn high now. Like you would think they'd be like, oh, like 50-50. And if you
Happens all
do,
the
it's no
time.
big deal. It's a hospital. No, they tell me, no, it's never happened.
Never.
Right. And so then they put me through the CT scan and she's like, it's going to be an hour and a half before you get the results.
Oh, okay. I thought they meant in the CT scan.
No, that was probably 20 minutes.
It's a long time.
Yeah. And then after they do the CT scan, then they've got to flush everything out again.
Oh.
And then hook you back up to your IV and wheel you back to the room. So I get back to the room and for the next 2+ hours, I just watched TV.
Anything good?
I watched some golf. I watched the original Iron Man.
I
Which
am Iron Man.
congrats,
Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr.
I
on beating
saw that.
addiction and winning an Oscar.
I know. Best supporting actor, right?
Yep, Oppenheimer. And so then the doctor comes back in some hours later. This was probably 6:30 at night. I went there. I got to the emergency room at 11.
Yeah.
And that's on top of going to the urgent care at like before 10.
So you've had a long day.
Long day. I mean, not that I did anything. I basically paid a $200 deductible to sit there and watch TV and piss myself.
And play with yourself.
In front of people. I like full Louis C.K. over there.
Oh my God, dude. Wow. You went there.
So funny to me, but and so the doctor comes back in and she's like, all right, it's diverticulitis. And as an added bonus, you also have a kidney stone.
Oh, buddy. So when is this kidney stone going to
Well,
work
here's
its
the
way
thing.
out?
Thank God I didn't get the big C, but I did get a liquid diet for 3 days.
So you're going to still lose some weight, Brad.
I would think so. You're
going to be super lean for the race.
So, but what I'm worried about, so this race should be super interesting. So, one, I'm going to be just loaded for bear with antibiotics. Two, I've not run in 2 weeks.
Ditto.
And yeah, who knows how my abdomen's feeling come Friday.
Brad, I think what we do is just we walk when we have to walk and we run when we can run and we have fun.
I might get there and be ready, just primed.
Brad, but I'm not gonna be
Okay.
primed.
And so here's a couple of things. So diverticulitis, liquid diet for 3 days. I'm in the middle of that 3 days. It's awful. It is awful. Nothing is worth this. I want like a cheeseburger or a Chick-fil-A sandwich like it's going out of style.
Dude, well, what, on Thursday then? When Thursday?
I get
Tuesday?
there
Wednesday?
Friday.
I'm
Oh,
saying, like, when can you start eating again?
end of day tomorrow. So
So I
Wednesday.
just imagine you've gone to Chick-fil-A before, gotten yourself what, a three,
Chick-fil-A
three,
sandwich, large fry, either a 12 count or an 8 count of chicken nuggets.
but you got three of them in one day, didn't you?
Yeah, but
That's
that was a miss. That was an egregious
but you
misorder
ate all of it. You
over
didn't
the
have
course
to
of a
eat.
whole day.
That's a lot.
It's like 3 meals.
And a sandwich.
They were 8 counts, though. That's not a real meal. That's
Oh
basically an appetizer.
my God. Brad.
What?
That's a lot.
And so yeah, that was my weekend, and I'm pretty sure that's why I didn't feel great last week. Like, just kind of felt lethargic, little run down, and
Diverticulitis.
here we are.
That's
And
quite the name.
I've got to look forward to another kidney stone, which this will
Uh,
be number 4.
for kidney stones or for like battles with
4
kidney
kidney
stones?
stones, like battles with kidney stones. I'm assuming this is going to be an ensuing battle.
Like, is it a big one?
They didn't give me any size, diameter, nothing like that. But the first time I ended up in the hospital and having a surgery.
For the kidney stones?
Yeah,
You didn't
yeah.
tell her about that surgery, did you?
You're 100% right. I forgot about it, but I knew it wasn't kidney stones because I've had so many run-ins.
Obviously, it's kidney stones.
I know, but that's not what's causing me the trouble. So the first, I mean, this is just like Brad's hospital visits. So the first go round was just after college, and I had Stephanie had to drive me to the emergency room. End up having a surgery overnight, where because the kidney stone was so bad that it blocked my urethra, and so it was backing up, and when it starts backing up, it like starts poisoning you.
Yeah.
And so that like they can't just go in and remove that. They have to put in a catheter
Oh my
into
God,
your
dude.
pee tip, but it's
Yeah.
not just into your pee tip. The catheter goes like that thing's deep.
Yeah, it
So it's
goes in.
constantly taking your bladder. So it feels like you
Yeah.
have to pee all the time. And so they put you under like it's a full-blown surgery to put that in. But the wildest part of the story is so one, it's super uncomfortable. You literally feel like you're just peeing in your pants the whole time. So you basically feel like me on Sunday.
Yeah.
See tying it all together.
You tied it back in.
I
Yeah.
know. Good joke.
Good.
Yep. And so it constantly feels like you're just peeing in your pants. And they put you out completely to put this thing in, which would lead you to believe that they're going to put you completely under to remove it.
Take it out.
Nope, nothing. Just a nurse and a doctor. The nurse holds your pee-pee, holds your wiener or your penis,
Yeah.
and then the doctor goes in. I swear to God, it is the most horrific thing you've ever seen. And so the way you looked over bloodletting is you have to go like this, and you're like, seriously, like there's nothing, no anesthesia, nothing, no, like it's just gonna pop right out. And so then he like essentially with a tool reaches into your penis,
Oh my
and then
God.
because it's so tight, it shoots out. The doctor had to catch it. And the nurse that's holding my penis is like, "Oh, way to go, Doctor Penis! Good catch!" And he's like, "I got it." He's just waving around. It was a wild
Was
experience.
it was it like down there really deep in the glons?
And so then my second experience with kidney stones, Stephanie is still embarrassed to this day. So we lived in Charlotte in our first house in Charlotte, and
Yeah.
we had like what's considered a bad snow day in Charlotte. We probably had like 6 inches, and
It's a pretty
just
significant amount, yeah.
throwing up uncontrollably, like probably eerily similar to the time that I pooped on our bathroom floor in college.
I'm trying to remember. I just remember having to pick up a turd off the like bathroom floor and put it in the toilet, and it wasn't mine. It wasn't my turd.
I don't know whose it was.
I wonder.
And so Steph's like, let's just go to the hospital. I was like, I can't move. I can't move. Call 911. Just send the ambulance. So Stephanie said, I barely remember this because I was just in a haze of pain and misery. And
Yeah.
so they then had to wheel me down our street because there was so much snow the ambulance couldn't make it all the way to our house. She goes, so we lived in a cul-de-sac. She's like, do you know how embarrassing it is? Like immediately getting reprimanded by Steph. Do you know how embarrassing it is that you're just out there being wheeled in a gurney down the street because you couldn't get in the car and go to the hospital?
Oh, Brad, a
And
man's
so,
man you are.
just stunned. And so then the third time was ironically going down to visit the exact same client that I just met with. So in the same place in Miami, I told him I'm not meeting him anymore in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So this was right before our Hilton Head trip last year. Fly down to Miami the like days before, fly back and could feel the kidney stone. I'm like, oh, like this is gonna be a bad one. Then, but because I'm a man's man, I alphaed my way straight through this until we get to Charlotte. We got to Huntersville and
Yeah.
crippled over. Oh God! Take me to the emergency room. So the whole family had to drive me to the emergency room. We get to the emergency room and they put me in there. And I'm like, as soon as we get to the emergency room, I'm like, it's not so bad anymore. Like, I've really got a hold of, like, after the last episode, I'm just dominating these kidney stones. They're like,
Yeah.
all right, so let's do a urine sample, check your kidney function, this, that, the other thing. Then they do an ultrasound because there's blood in my urine from the kidney
Yeah.
stone. Do the ultrasound. Brad, Mr. Lang, you've already passed it. You've straight alpha this kidney stone. You've David Goggins this kidney stone. It's over. It's done with. Have a great trip. We hope you enjoy Hilton Head. And now I've got bout 4 coming on.
Is it? I think this one's going to be like an egg.
It could be. It could be. I'm just thinking about how I continue to dominate.
So dominant. Kidney stones left and right, diverticulitis. Just
I've owned
showing
them
your
all.
body. Just showing
Pretty
your
much
body who talks.
everything that ails 80-year-old men, like this, ailed me from my 20s to here.
Dude, so when I don't even know, 10 years old, I got like this crazy like mole thing on my chest right here. And like if you even touched it a small amount, it just burst out in blood. Like my shirts would get like drenched. Like I was saying, we had to go to the
I'm
hospital.
making a shocked Yowzer's face.
And,
Whoa!
but apparently pregnant women get them.
It makes sense with your low T.
When I was like 10, and just right there in the middle of my chest. It's like they burnt
Was
it
it a
off, and it was
nipple?
no, it wasn't a nipple. It was like some like weird thing. Just
It
like
wasn't exploding milk?
no, it was blood. Like just
It wasn't lactating?
no. I mean, lactating blood.
Huh.
Like truly,
I
one
don't
time
think you can lactate blood.
I remember one time I was wearing a black T-shirt and I went out and like I was playing at the park and I was like, man, I'm really sweating a lot today.
Yeah.
My shirt was
It
just drenched in
exploded.
blood.
Making a disgusting face while sticking out my tongue.
Oh my God, Brad. This podcast has been nothing but about you.
I mean, this has had something to do with running, but really nothing about running.
Are you at least a little excited about Saturday?
I'm pumped. I'm
I'm not.
hoping, I'm genuinely hoping that my intestines feel better because
I do too.
I, as it stands, as of Monday evening, no chance, no chance I can finish.
Um, it's supposed to also be raining.
I looked it up and said we're good.
That look, I live 2 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
Rain. What program are you using?
It's just a little one that only me and a few others know about. It's called the Weather Channel app.
And it says Washington D.C. We're good.
9% chance of rain.
Last time I checked, it said 59.
74 or 70% chance of rain all day Friday.
Huh? Maybe it's so it moved. Okay. Well, that'll be fun going to the convention center for that. When are you
Yeah,
getting in?
it's open until 7 p.m. We have it to pick up our packets
Yeah. When are you getting in?
before 7.
That's helpful.
So, and then it's straight to, we're going to have to find a little
Olive
love
Garden.
nest called Olive Garden.
Yes, we will.
What
My
will we
family
be carbo loading for?
for our 13-mile run, man.
What will we be carbo loading for? Smile face.
What do you mean? What are we carb loading for?
Off kilter look at Jeremy. See, this way people that are listening can really appreciate this more.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. So
Hmm.
look, we're gonna have to like. What do you mean? What are we carb loading for? The biggest race of our lives.
So I'm assuming because one or both of us may need to walk, that this could be closer to a 2 hour episode. Is that fair to say? 3 hours? That's a long time out there.
Yeah,
So are you going to bring energy gels?
I think we're gonna have to. Good thing that I think the convention is gonna be quite large. It's gonna
Could
be
be.
pretty cool.
Duck face.
We're both doing duck faces.
Well, Jeremy, I'm
So are
excited. That's all I
so
can
are
say.
yeah? Are we like straight live potting this bad boy?
On Sunday? Sunday
Saturday.
morning over brunch.
Saturday. Oh, Sunday after our race.
Yeah, Jeremy. I mean, confused face. What?
What is wrong with you, dude? What is wrong with you?
Yep.
Super stoked.
I'm pumped.
Raising the roof? We're raising the
I'm
roof.
pumped. I'm really hoping that I'm feeling better. I'm really hoping that we have a lot of fun out there. I'm really hoping you don't annoy me too much.
Finger tense.
I'm
Thinking
really hoping
thoughtfully.
I'm really hoping Elliot doesn't go too apeshit.
Well, that's definitely not going to happen.
What?
Brad, 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 Brad. Guess what? Pokemon.
Well, Jeremy, it's edging up against 10 p.m.
I'm
Monday evening.
aware.
I've got to publish this
9:51.
for tomorrow.
And
And
this is one of our shortest episodes, Brad.
and I've got to take more medication. You
Take
know
that
why I'm
medication.
thinking that I'm going to feel pretty good come Friday? Because my medication is only for 7 days. And I have some heavy duty Oxycontin.
Oh, that
I
should make
could
you feel
just
real good for the race.
take this race sleepwalking. I can't
Sleep.
drive. There's no way you can run a half marathon on Oxycontin.
Have you tried?
I will not be trying. I've not taken a single pill of it.
Why not? Give it to me. I'll
Because
take it and then I'll
because
run
I'm
extra
because I'm
fast.
alpha, Jeremy.
I'll take it and run extra
I'm
fast.
taking this diverticulitis
Are
and
are you are you more alpha than Goggins?
oh, easy. Easy.
than Galen Rupp?
No, seriously, what they told me at the hospital, I didn't want to share this, but now it seems like a good time to share it. The doctor came in and she literally said, and the nurse was there to back it up. He said, I second everything she just said. She said, I've never seen a man take diverticulitis like you. Like you're not wincing. The only time you even moaned a little is when I like basically stepped on the diverticulitis, which most men would have passed out in pain.
Uh-huh.
She said, like any other man, a mere mortal, would have just we'd be reviving him with smelling salts.
So what I would have done when they were like pushing on my stomach is I would have tensed up really hard so they would be pushing on my muscles and they wouldn't be able to get in there. And then they'd be like, "Oh man, you've got some sweet abs." I'm like, "Damn straight I do,
Doubt it.
dudes."
Doubt it.
They would have been like, "Damn, my broken fingers."
Yeah, I didn't think that would be an appropriate Like, I don't know how that deals with HIPAA.
Did you say hippo?
HIPAA.
Okay, I thought you said hippo.
No. Do you
I
remember
thought you
like
said
when everybody during COVID was like, "Well, that's my HIPAA"? No,
hippo.
somebody can ask you something and you can release whatever information you want.
Hippo.
Yep, HIPAA.
It's a
That
catch-all.
And so I was a bit concerned to start the podcast that may be like the medical procedures that were done and everything that they did to me isn't a violation, but once you start going alpha, that could be a serious HIPAA violation. Once they start diagnosing alpha,
They
you
diagnosed you as alpha.
diagnosed
Wow.
big time.
That is big time.
The Briggity that would have been, if I had the big C, that would have been the charity of choice. The Briggity Bro Bob's big time charity fund.
But
Do you think we could have fit all that
Brad,
around?
it's another t-shirt idea. Diagnosed alpha. With your face.
I'm just thinking like we should put on a charity 5K. The Briggity Bro Bob's big time charity run.
Like it.
Everything. The new podcast is the Briggity Bro Bob's big time podcast.
Love it.
Literally everything from here on out is big time. Big time.
Dude, stickers? I'm thinking how we can merch it out, dude. Stickers, t-shirts, hoodies, hats.
It reminds me of The Office when they did the charity run for rabies.
Yes. Michael's 5,000K. It was so long.
The Office 5K. What was the name of it?
I don't remember. It was some ridiculous thing.
Dunder Mifflin Scranton Meredith Palmer Memorial Celebrity Rabies Awareness Pro-Am Fun Run Race for the Cure.
And it was a 5,000K.
God.
Oh, man. That's quite the name.
He carbo loaded with fettuccine Alfredo.
Alfredo? And it's like, oh!
Right on the starting line.
And Andy's running like this, even though he's got freaking tissues out to here on his boobs. He still has bleeding nipples.
That might be the best running TV show episode ever. It was big time.
Right, that's something that we could pod about.
What's that?
The best running TV episodes of all time.
I can't even think of another one that's even like that one's so far away, better than everything else.
But it's because you're not thinking of anything else.
I know, but if there was anything good that could compete with it, you would think of it.
I'll do some research. Speaking of,
there's also an Office episode where they're running down the street with that automatic speed camera, and then the car passes him. He's like 25 miles an hour. Yes.
There's one where they have Dwight running around the office building and timing him. I can't remember that one.
So every good running TV episode ever is from The Office.
I don't think that's the case, Brad.
Pretty sure.
Well, agree to disagree. But speaking of, before we go, when we were talking about last time about the super slow 100-meter dashes in the
Yes.
Olympics,
Yes.
who was right?
Me.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
The slowest 100-meter dash at the Olympics of all time, do you know what it was?
What was it?
I think it was 19 seconds or something like that.
It's probably not appropriate. Once I saw that on there, probably completely inappropriate.
Well, you've already ruined it.
That might be over the top. Like, we might be flagged for indecent proposals.
What are we proposing indecently?
This microphone in my mouth and my face.
Well, true.
So,
True,
here we are. A diagnosed by a doctor, Alpha,
I like it.
is ready to tear up diverticulitis and the half marathon. So, Jeremy, let's get it done, bud.
Let's do it, dude.
All right, bud.
Hey,
Friday,
guess what?
we're going to see each other.
We are. We're going to see my family.
Friday, we're going to see each other, two guns in the air. Those are the hammers.
And your kids are going to meet my kid for the first time ever.
I'm shooting him in the air. On both sides of my face, guns shooting in the air. All right.
Hey, guess what, Brad?
You're going to bow down to my alphaness when you see me?
No, not at all. I'm way more alpha.
Have you ever been diagnosed?
Yeah. I was diagnosed alpha when I was born, bro. Came out, chest hairs.
with your third nipple that lactates?
Chest hairs. I had a full head of red hair. They're like, if there's ever been an alpha before, that's the one.
No.
I came out with red pubes.
Okay, gotta go.
All right, dude.
Jeremy.
Hey, Bradford.
Love you, bud.
I love you, man.
And I'm still here. And I'm alpha AF. You know what that's for?